Dylan, War Thunder is my main squeeze. Don't shut it down. Dude, this War Thunder stuff is insane, dog. I'm not a big War Thunder guy. When I was in Ukraine, one of my best buddies over there, as we were watching movies and engaging in legal substances, the thing is, that game, he was playing constantly. And I understand the appeal, right? You know, with all the weapons nerds and everything, and how it shows you exactly how your tank exploded, so you can't say that just clipped me, but it's like, no, here, it hit your engine right here, you blew up. This is 100% how it's supposed to go. And the designers of the game are really big on making sure everything is perfect in comparison to historical counterpart. But the thing is with the War Thunder community is they're more obsessive than the game developers. And I've seen the game developers go out and challenge historical YouTubers to come and find historical inaccuracies with their tanks. If you are doing that as a game company, you are confident in your product. If you're literally going out saying, find the inaccuracies, find them. We're obsessive about this stuff. Find the inaccuracies. That is very bold. That is very brash. And it honestly rubbed me the right way. I still haven't tried War Thunder to this day, right? I probably should. But personally, I'm more of a grand strategy guy, you know? I do play some games outside of that. I just finished the Life and Suffering of Sir Brant. Fantastic visual novel choose your own adventure game. Came from the same people who did Our Revolution, the game about France. I'm getting off track. Anyway, War Thunder, right? I still recommend the Life of Sir Brant. Very good game. The Life and Suffering of Sir Brant. Back on topic to War Thunder. Even if the developers are super obsessive about the game, they can't hold a candle. They can't hold a candle to how obsessive, how unbelievably obsessive their players are. Specifically, the people who argue and debate about the specifics of this tank or this vehicle and and they go back and forth. And some people who debate about these tanks, the reason they have so much passion about them is because they've served in them. The reason they care so much about this plane is that they flew the plane. And so, of course, you have a lot of passion about something that you risked your life to drive, right? Or you signed up to drive and you're still currently driving, right? Or you designed, say you're a weapons developer or something like that, and you're like, I worked 10 years on this, I know the specifics, screw you, Internet 420, Ebony Lover 92, fuck you, I know the truth. And then you go, and these people will get documents that are not supposed to be public, and they will post them on War Thunder internet forums. I am not shitting you. They will post them on War Thunder internet forums to win internet debates. And the thing is, this is already a crazy story, but this hasn't happened once. This hasn't happened twice. I've literally lost count of the amount of times this has happened. It happened so much, I cannot tell you how many times it's happened. It's happened a lot of times in the English-speaking world, but it hasn't only happened in the English-speaking world. It's even happened in China, where Chinese soldiers debating the specifics of the military tanks and this and that will end up posting information on these forums because they are just as obsessive as we are, okay? The thing is, right, and I saw a meme online recently and I posted it on Twitter that kind of reminds me of this, because I think a lot of times with like the new Cold War everybody's talking about, we kind of sometimes forget exactly like who on what side of the, you know, all human, yada yada, all that hippy dippy nonsense, go take mushrooms, you'll figure out the world is one, whatever. This right here is something that reminds me of this. Toad worship is a class of Chinese internet meme where people ironically pretend to admire Jiang Zemin. No, I don't get it either. This is just dark Brandon, but for the Chinese. This is literally just dark Brandon, but for the Chinese. The reason it's toad worship is because people say that Jiang Zemin, who is now a pretty politically isolated opponent of Xi Jinping, who has no power really anymore, he kind of looks like a toad. And that's the reason they came up with it. But another way that we're similar is that we're also as equally obsessive about military stuff, and that if you're a soldier and you drive a tank, you want to make sure that everybody on the internet who disagrees with you on the tank, you're going to prove them wrong, even if you got to kill thousands of your own soldiers to do it. You're going to win this internet debate, even if it means 10,000 of your soldiers, of tank drivers, will die in the future war because America was able to deem some extra information out of it. Not saying, like, same in our instance too, I'm just saying, you know, kumbaya, the world is one, right? We're all the same, no matter who it is. If North Korea had enough War Thunder players in it, we would be finding out the specifics of North Korean everything in an instant, okay? Same is true about any society in the world. If you had enough Syrian players in the Syrian Arab army, you would have Assad's tank driver saying, no, actually, we had to hold our tanks together with rubber bands against the FSA. You would get all of it. And the reason I give this such verbose and passionate speech about this is because guess what happened, boys? First off, this is the first thing that set me off to it. I think I can find it on my Twitter account, right? This is just a Reddit post. There's nothing necessarily behind it, right? We don't have any evidence for this, but I'll start with this. This is what got me to Google it and research it again. I saw this and I had to post it. Congrats, guys, we did it. This is on the War Thunder Reddit forums. Friend of mine just got a job at Raytheon. As part of security clearance, a PI, private investigator, has to investigate the person to call up witnesses, i.e. friends. I was on the contact list. I get a call, ask basic questions like, would he overthrow the government or shit like that? And then says, does he play War Thunder? Let me repeat that. Does he play War Thunder, my own words, the video game that people play on the internet? Right? Not, is he a spy for the Chinese, or have you ever seen him take like some shady like briefcase to like some foregone part of town that nobody knows about and drop it off for some people who speak some weird Slavic language that you don't know? Like, it's just, does he play the video game? Does he play this internet video game, which is becoming just a national security risk? Guys, holy shit, we did it. War Thunder is officially a risk of national security. Now, obviously, this is a Reddit post, right? I can't go out and be like, I'm gonna go interview Redditor Nafu Uwu, right? I don't know if they're never necessarily the most honorable name in war and geopolitical journalism, right? I don't know if he's the top name in OPSEC, open source intelligence, but so obviously I can't confirm this. Pretty funny story, and I'm more using it as a lead to say that boys, it happened again. War Thunder players are once again leaking sensitive military technology information on video game forum. You can ask me how many times this happened now. I don't know, like 6 or 7. I have no clue. I have no clue how to tell you like how many. I have no clue anymore because I know all the English ones, but this also happened in China. Right? This is happening in every country War Thunder touches. You want to know, honestly, where I think the American government found out that the Russians were going to invade Ukraine? I think it was probably some Russian soldier on War Thunder yelling. Yelling about, no, this is wrong. If we were to invade Ukraine, it would be this. And then he just posts the entire invasion plan. And that War Thunder player, Alexander Lukashenko, 100%. Has to be him, okay? Has to be him. Why would it have to be him? Because he's the only one who actually posts the invasion plan publicly. He did it, by the way. I'm not kidding about that. Alexander Lukashenko war map. He unironically showed the invasion plan publicly. And if you look down here in the bottom left-hand corner, it shows troops invading from another country, Moldova, where they have Russian soldiers stationed in a proxy state in Transnistria. That was never public information. He might have like unironically just threw this out there and did it because, again, Lukashenko's that incompetent. So if it's anybody, it would be him if he did the War Thunder thing. But let's get back into the specifics of the story, okay? No, this doesn't call for map song. That's too light of a map appearance. War Thunder players are once again leaking sensitive military technology information on a video game forum. The latest leaks involve technical details for the F-15 and F-16. This is like cutting edge stuff. Obviously, there's the F-35, but this is like really important national security information, not only for the United States, but we're taking this and we're giving it to other countries. Right now, the Turks are really angry because we're going to give the Greeks F-16s while we're holding up a deal for the Turks on F-16s, and they really don't like each other, right? Really don't. If you want to know who I think's the main fault for this, Turkey. But Erdogan's really angry about this, right? This is a big issue in the world. People want F-16s. People want these planes. The Turks want it. And America's holding it over their head as a bargaining chip to say, hey, confirm Finland, confirm Sweden, and then we'll give you the F-16s. Because before, it was the Turks using all the leverage to say, hey, Sweden, get rid of all the Kurds. Hey, the West, abandon the Kurds in Syria. And now it seems that Joe Biden has responded by saying, oh, you want to add pressure? We'll add pressure, okay? You want to go get the Russian MiG-29s right now? Yeah, you think the Russians have any to spare? Good luck with that. Anyway, back on topic. We're bringing it back in. Okay, I kind of get lost on tangents. Let's read the article. Once again, gamers apparently can't help but post sensitive information about military technology online in order to make the game more realistic. People say it's to make the game more realistic. I'm sure that's a component, but I am also confident as an internet tough guy, as a guy who does debate bro stuff on the internet, you know, debates everyone. There has to be a certain percentage of this, and for the stories I've read in the past, that's just like, screw you, you're wrong, I can prove it. Post classified intel, you know? In this case, it's the game War Thunder, and the post concerned data about the F-16 Fighting Falcon and the F-15E Strike Eagle. War Thunder is a multiplayer online game in which players engage in simulated combat with tanks, planes, and warships. The concept of the game, the concept of the game is that it is as realistic as possible. If you're flying, say, an F-16 and firing an AIM-20 advanced medium range air-to-air missile in the game, you should have to go through all the same steps that a real-world pilot would. This is also why War Thunder, when people talk to me about playing it, because I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's cool to watch, because I'm a military nerd, have to be as an amateur war journalist. If you want to give me that dignity, if you want to give me that conceit, thank you. If you want to give me that dignity, this game is obsessive about it, and that is the selling point. Like I said earlier, they told YouTubers to find the errors, and they really couldn't find anything. They had to like I remember one of the YouTubers came back and they said this to War Thunder: you want to know what is wrong with your tanks? All these like Shermans from World War II, they don't have like a 40 to 30% breakdown ratio. They're not breaking down constantly to the degree we would want them to be historically accurate. So the only thing they could find is like, hey, could you make this game unplayable for the you know, the means of being more accurate? That was the only thing they could find. And of course, you're not going to make it so 30% of the tank just breaks down randomly. That completely ruins the fun of the game, which is always the big issue with these games, is trying to balance fun and realism and stuff like that. But let's continue. And to create that level of realism, some players apparently have no qualms about sharing information that, in theory, should only be privy to the actual pilots flying those F-16s and firing those actual missiles. Unironically, after this was released, right? Well, let's continue, and then I will say my conclusion from this. This past week, in order to bring some clarity to just how F-16s, added to the game just a month ago, would fire a missile, someone going by the name Space Navy 90 posted technical documents in a War Thunder form detailing the process of an X-16 going through to fire off an AMRAAM. Now, the F-16 has undergone many upgrades over the years, so the document the Space Navy 90 shared wasn't quite up to date, but the forum moderators apparently thought that this post might be a violation of the International Traffic in Arms Regulation, which governs the export and temporary import of defense articles and services. Well, Space Navy 90, could you imagine? You post so hard, you commit an international crime through your posting, and it's not even like your bombs you drop on the War Thunder internet forums are so massive, so deadly. The Interpol had no choice but to get involved. Oh my God, that's some hot bars. Well, Space Navy 90 apparently argued that there was no issue with sharing old information on the F-16. The post was removed, leaving users presumably stuck in a, oh God, another word I don't know. God damn, man, I am terrible with the English language. I need to learn Ukrainian just so I can never speak English again. Simulacrum of flying an F-16 from the 90s rather than 2023. The F-16 post wasn't the only classified data dump to hit the forum this week. Days later, this is the best part, another War Thunder player called Ranch Sauce 39 posted several operational flight program manuals for the F-15E. The documents may have been more than 20 years old, but still the government or certain forum moderators don't look kindly upon distributing information about military hardware, even if it's dated to a time when Smash Mouth was topping the music charts. The post was also removed. And this, if you keep going here, it just keeps going through this example. Here's another one. For whatever reason, the War Thunder forums have become a dumping ground for sharing classified military information. In July of 2021, someone identifying himself as a tank commander in the British Army thought it'd be a good idea to correct how the game had modeled Challenger 2 main battle tanks by revealing secretive information about the tank specification to prove his point. Later that year, a French tank crewman simply had to resort to posting the manual for the main battle tank, for the Leclerc main battle tank, in order to settle a debate on the War Thunder forums. I told you, they're debate bros through and through. Debate bros through and through. And in June of 2022, this is what we were talking about earlier, a Chinese tanker posted the schematics for munitions, again, to show that the game wasn't accurately reflecting just what would have happened if one of these Chinese tanks would ever engage on an American or British or French or German or Israeli tank in combat. This one particularly pissed off the Chinese, because I don't even think the tank has ever actually faced Americans or Brits or anyone like that in battle, because these are modern battle tanks. So we're talking about modern, untested in the battlefield battle tanks, just having classified information just everywhere, right? It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And this could unironically, CJ Oracle, thank you so much for the tier 1 beat sub for 18 months. This stuff could actually get people killed in a war. I'm not kidding. If a war was to ever happen between the United States and China, there is a scenario where we use that secret information that Chinese player posted and kill like hundreds of Chinese soldiers. Like that unlikely scenario, mind you, right? War between China and the United States. But if it was to happen, that's a possibility. And who knows how the information about these F-15, F-16s, or any of these other tanks could impact future wars or anything. Probably not massively, right? One intel leak here, one intel leak there, won't do anything. But the fact, the fact that there's a policy on the War Thunder forums, like, got another one, ban them, scrub it, tell Interpol, tell everybody about it. We got to shut it down, don't let anyone know. The fact that they got a policy for this just shows how often this happens. 5, 6, 7 times. Like, how many times can this happen before War Thunder players realize that, like, this is only going to get the government more and more concentrated on this game and more concentrated on scrubbing out all the War Thunder players from the military. Because it could be a real possibility that War Thunder players are being asked in interviews, or do you play War Thunder before joining the military? Or they're asking their friends if they play War Thunder before joining the military. Xpone3NT, thank you for the Prime being sub for 28 months and currently on a 15-month streak. Love that emote, one of my favorites. But to wrap this up, there is a real scenario. Well, no, this isn't even a scenario. This happened where Russian intelligence saw this information and they had to scour it. So we're talking like Russian FSB agents like scouring posts of like American soldiers, but you piece of shit, I'm the best, screw you, America's awesome, our tank would be your tank, here's why. And just having to go through these War Thunder forums. There is probably FSB agents, CIA agents, MI6 agents, all these different agents, unironically like monitoring to some degree the War Thunder forums, trying to like make sure that no new information spills onto it. There's a tiny chance that these intel agencies have contacted War Thunder or American government organizations or something has contacted them like, you gotta like cooperate, like what's going on here? This is getting pretty crazy, guys. This is crazy stuff. And this just shows how powerful not only a man's ego in making sure that he gets every single fact on the video game like right, it also shows their dedication to their craft, I think, to some degree, that they want to make sure everything is correct. They're so passionate about this game, but also shows how in the age of information technology, intelligence is going to come from so many crazy places. We've already seen how in the war in Ukraine, like, there will be Russian soldiers who take a selfie, post it online, geolocated, whole squad dead. And we've seen French news, France 24, take photos, don't filter them through the proper channels when it's near battlefield locations, post it, location geolocated, Ukrainian soldiers dead. We've seen this happen with Wagner boys and Gray Zone taking photos of them, literally having the address of the building in frame, boom, 200 soldiers dead. That's the future of open source intelligence, where a lot of this is no longer, oh, you need the intel community to come out and get you all your info. You've got civilians out there who are big on open source intel, big OPSEC guys on Twitter, on Telegram, especially Telegram, posting the locations, actively trying to geolocate it. And you're going to get so much intelligence coming from so many different places because of the existence of drones, the existence of phones that can post stuff instantly, and everything's a camera now. All the videotapes and video recorders, not videotapes, but video recorders in everybody's home. Like we saw with that one rich guy who had a video recorder or a camera in his home that was really big and really rich guy, and then Russian soldiers got in it, gave it to the Ukrainians, boom, killed him because he could see them through his home security footage. Open source intel is going to come from so many amazing and crazy places. It's going to come from randos on the street just posting Russian troop coordinates with their phone. It's going to come from the soldiers themselves taking selfies, not knowing what they're doing, and getting their whole squad killed. It's going to come from internet forums. It's going to come from everywhere. And I don't think we've seen the depths of exactly how deep and how strange this rabbit hole goes from how we're going to get intelligence in the modern age of warfare. Whether the War Thunder community wants it or not, the American intelligence community, probably to some degree the Chinese intelligence community, the British intelligence community, the French, all these intelligence communities are probably starting, especially the Americans, since we've had the most of this, maybe because War Thunder is really big in America, and, you know, we really like to be right and say that our weapons are the best because we are the biggest military on the planet. We have the strongest military on the planet. We're really big on our guns. We're the most on there, so I know we definitely probably think to some degree that War Thunder is a legitimate national security risk. Whether it actually is, I don't know. I don't think the game is, but its community, maybe. Who knows?